Hi Year 6 and welcome to Thursday's maths lesson. Today we are going to look at multiplying. So have a look at this calculation in front of you. We've got 678 times 5 and note down how you would solve this calculation. Pause the video to have a go and work through to an answer and then come back so that we can check it together. Okay. So hopefully you will have set out your calculation a little bit like this in a column with your ones all lined up, and then give yourself some space to work it out. And then we're going to work through each column, okay? We know this, multiplying by one digit should be pretty easy for us now. So you should have had 8 times 5 is 40. Remember my 0 goes there and my 4 gets carried to be added later. 7 times 5 is 35. Add that 4. 39. My 9 there, my 3 carried. And then 6 times 5 is 30. And add that 3. 33. Okay, so 3,390. Give yourself a big pat on the back if you got that one right. I'm going to go through another one-digit multiplication before then we start to look at some long multiplication with 2 digits, okay? So if I can talk you through one more one digit, you take your big number, put it on the top, line up your digits into columns with your ones underneath one another, and make some space for your answer. Oh, that's a really dodgy line again. Let's try again for something a bit straighter. That's better. Okay, now work through each column. So do my ones first, then my tens, then my hundreds. 8 times 7 is 56. The 6 goes there. And the 5 carries over to be added. 9 times 7 is 63. Add that 5 is 68. Carry my 6. And then 3 times 7 is 21. Add that 6 is 27. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, you will decide whether you want to practice one digit or 2 digit. If you feel like 2 digits a bit tricky and you want to come back to 1 digit, then you can always play those first 2 examples again from this lesson to help you when you do your task later. You can come back, okay? But I'm going to talk you through a couple of 2 digit examples now to see if you are comfortable with those. So 36 times 27. We're going to line up in exactly the same way. Obviously now we've got a 2 digit by a 2 digit. So we're going to have 2 digits to line up. And when we do our answer, we're going to have 2 rows here. So we're going to first of all multiply our 36 by the 7. Okay, in exactly the same way that we just did. 6 times 7 is 42. The 2 there, carry the 4. 3 times 7 is 21. Add that 4, 25. Okay, and what I have done there is 36 times 7. Okay, now I've used this already. I've used that too, so get rid of it so don't get confused. Now I want to do this 2 times 36. However, it's in this column, so it is not a 2, it is a 20. So the second row of my calculation is 36 times 20. Okay, so effectively, this method partitions your number, then at the end we add the 2 bits together. All right, now I'm going to put my 0 here to remind me that I'm multiplying by 20. So I've made it 10 times bigger and now I can do each digit by 2. Okay, that's really important. 2 times 6 then is 12. My 2 will go there and my 1 will be carried. 3 times 2 is 6. Add that 1 is 7. Okay, and now I've got 2 rows. 36 times 7 and 36 times 20, and I can add them together. 2 add 0, 2, 5 add 2, 7, 2 add 7, 9. And that is my final answer, 972. Okay, let's have a look at one more example. Perhaps you would like to pause the video here and have a go at 419 times 36 and then come back to watch me go through it. Do that if you like. If you're still not quite confident, then you can just carry on and watch me do it now. Okay, so line it up in exactly the same way. This time we've got a 3-digit by a 2-digit. So just make sure your 1s are in line, your 10s are in line. Give yourself some space. Now, to make sure we understand what we're doing, we can put these little brackets that I did before in at the beginning. So my first row will be 419 times 6. So I'm going to do my 1s first. Okay, and then as I move on, my second row will be 419 times 30. I'm really challenging myself having to write these numbers with the mouse when usually on the board I have a pen. So bear with me because it takes me twice as long. Okay, so you're going to have 2 rows. Times it by 6, times it by 30. So let's do that now. Forget the 3, just do the 6. 9 times 6 is 54. My 4 there. My 5 carried. 1 times 6 is 6. Add your 5. 11. 1 there and 1 there. 4 times 6 is 24 and add the 1, 25. Okay, so that's my first row. Now I like to just cross out the numbers that I'm done with so I don't get confused in the next row. Now I'm going to times by 30. Okay, I'm going to take each digit and multiply it by that 3. And if I put in my 0 placeholder, I know that I'm showing all the numbers up, and so I've multiplied them by 10. So really I am going by 30 now and not 3. 3 times 9 is 27. 7 there. 2 there. 1 times 3 is 3, add the 2 is 5. And then 4 times 3 is 12. Again, make sure you're lining these digits up as best you can so that when you add them, it's going to be accurate. It's a dodgy add sign. 4 add 0 is 4. 1 add 7 is 8. 5 add 5 is 10. 2 add 2 add 1 is 5. And then 1. 15,084. If you had a go before watching my example, then well done if you got the right answer. And if you weren't quite right, hopefully you can see now where you went wrong. Again, at the end of the lesson, you're going to choose what to do. So you can practice 1 digit, you can practice 2 digit. And if you choose either of those options, you can come back to this part of the lesson and rewatch my examples. I'm now going to go through some challenge questions because some of you might move on to the challenge or some of you might even want to start with the challenge. So the first type of challenge that you will see on the challenge sheet will look like this. Okay, you might have some multiplication questions. They're going to be 2 digit and you need to find the error. So you could pause the video here and see if you can work through and find the error in this calculation. So somebody has worked it out and somewhere there is a mistake. Have a go and then watch back while I explain how to find it. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that I am doing it from scratch. So I am going to work it out myself and I'm going to see where I find something different to what this person found. Okay. So 9 times 5 would be 45. So that 5 feels right. And then it would be a 4 carried there. 7 times 5 is 35. And add the 4 would be 39. That 9 feels right. I can actually tick the ones. That are right if I want. Okay, 39. So that would have a 3. And then 1 times 5 is 5, add 3 is 8. So I'm happy with that line. Now I'm going to multiply by 20. So I feel happy that I've got my 0 placeholder there. Lose those. 2 times 9 is 18. Yep, 8 there, 1 there. 2 times 7 is 14. Add the 1. 15. 5 there, 1 there. 2 times 2 is 2, add the 1 is 3. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So there's nothing wrong with my multiplication. Perhaps there's something wrong in the addition. 5 add 0 is 5, happy. 9 add 8 is 17, so carry a 1 over. 8 add 5 is 13, plus that 1 is 14. So here is my mistake. That should be a 4, 14, and then 3 add 1 is 4. And that's right. So I've found my mistake there and I've corrected it. Okay, well done if you got that answer as well. And if not, hopefully you can see how to work through to find your errors. So if you choose the challenge sheet, you will start off by having 2 find the error questions. The next challenge that you'll have will look like this. Now this is much trickier. Okay, so only tackle this when you're feeling really, really confident with your multiplication. However, it's easier than it looks at first glance. Okay, so we have to find out what numbers these letters represent. Okay, now each letter represents a number. So when I see E, both of my E's are going to be the same number. Okay. So I'm going to change colour to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. I'm going to talk you through it. On your challenge sheet, there is another example of this. If you feel confident already, then pause me here and have a go at this one and come back to check the answer. If you're not sure where to begin, then just listen to me explaining it. Okay, I'm going to think about my 3 times table for this because I know I'm multiplying by 3. So I need to ask myself something times 3 equals 1. Now, I'm struggling with that because that doesn't make sense to me. Nothing times 3 equals 1. So perhaps this 1 is the second digit of a number. Now, I could write my multiples of 3 down the side of the page. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Again, I'm testing my pen skills. 18, 21, 24, 27. Okay, I'm going to go down to 9 because I'm not going to multiply by anything bigger than 9 because each of these would have to be 1 digit big. So now I can see that there is a number where 1 is the second digit. So E could be 7 because 7 times 3 is 21. Oops. If that E is 7, then that E is going to be 7 as well. Okay. And then I need to work through the calculation. 7 times 3 is 21. So 1 will be there and a 2 will be carried here. Now, this is where it gets, this is where it gets tricky, okay? Because I'm now thinking something times 3, add that carried 2, will end in 7. So what that means, stay with me because it's tricky, but what that means is I need to take this 2 away because I'm working backwards. Take the 2 away from the 7, and it means something times 3 will end in a 5. Okay, I could see that could be 15. And that would be 5 times 3. So my D's are 5s. Let's work that through. 5 times 3 is 15. Add 2 is 17. A 7 there and a carried 1. Now, exactly the same thing. Something times 3, add 1 equals 5. So I'm looking for a multiple that ends in 4. 24. That means this is an 8. this is an 8.